We're going to talk about Project 2029 real quick. It's the Democrats, the big thing that, it's kind of been getting talked about lately with them. Apparently, according to a couple news outlets, it is going to be released in quarterly installments through Cherney's publication called, and the book is going to be, or journal, whichever you want to call it, it's going to be called The Democracy, a Journal of Ideas. So essentially, they want to turn it into a book. Obviously, it is their counter to Project 2025. So, um, they're releasing, parts of it, like little clips. I'm sure it's going to come out. Donnie's, hopefully I said his name right. Primary win has definitely ignited a whole kind of crazy situation there in New York, especially, because it's a big one for the socialist part of the party or wing of the party, depending on whatever you want to call it. A lot of the squad members were, showed up there to endorse him. The only one I don't particularly care for is Elon Omar. Some of her statements, she did lead 50-50, but, came out to support their person, right? Because he won the nomination, and hey, best of luck to him. We're going to kind of move on a little bit to the RFK thing. Apparently, is according to the Huffington Post, he is still going to be releasing in September. They're what they feel is an answer or what is fueling the autism epidemic. I have a son that's autistic, and you know, I question some things sometimes, not necessarily the autism part, but I guess how they evaluate it. I think kind of how it's treated to a point. Uh, you know, the people he has at his school do a great job with him though, but it's just more like the overall approach. I guess I'm just not completely a fan of. But we've gotten very lucky. So, hopefully they have some kind of answer to. I mean, I love my son either way, but if there's something that we found if we do this, it may help a little bit. Hey, I mean, it only helps him in the end, right? But if he is the same way he is now, totally fine with that too. But if they can figure out what's causing it, even better, or at least, reduce it, right? Less kids getting it. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, so let's really hope that something out of this is like legitimate, can actually help kids, I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Whether we like each other or don't, this is about helping the kids. This isn't about politics. It's about helping the kids. Let's remember that this is clearly about helping the kids. All right, moving on now. Hamas delivers a positive response about the negotiating that ceasefire. Israel is it's tough, because they'll enter the peace agreement kind of like the last time. One thing was wrong, boom, they start attacking again. So I'd be really curious to see like how they are, how can they get something concrete in place, to make sure it like sticks more than a day. It's a very tense situation over there. Obviously, we only hope peace for everybody. We don't want anybody over there to get hurt. It's just never fun whatsoever for anybody involved. Tune in this week. I believe it'll be released Wednesday. Podcast with Dr. Glenn Toby. He's been on TEDx speaking. He's a philanthropist, successful entrepreneur. He's worked with LL Cool J. He's been stuff with Michael Bloomberg. He's been endorsed by tons of stuff. He does a lot of technology stuff too, entertainment still. He's like I said, LL Cool J, Olympian, Samir Lane. He's done stuff with Lance Reddick, Asante Samuel, Antonio Freeman, Josh Evans, O'Neill Bell, actor Jason Weaver, a lot of other big names and stuff. And it was a great it's gonna be a great episode for you guys. You're really going to love it. It was a great, a lot of insights about his background and the Book Bank Foundation. No, I appreciate him taking his time out to join me, give me some feedback. We talked about a lot of great things, just, talked about some of his experiences in life. It was just awesome. And I really, 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 really appreciate him and him taking that time. And, it was a great learning experience for me and got a lot of great insight. You guys will get a lot of great insight. He's just an all around good human being. All right. I hope this catches everybody doing well, and we'll catch you on Tuesday.